Hey guys, ẹ kú ọ̀lẹ́ lápá bíbá ẹ o. Let me know if you are with us. Let me know if you are live. All right. So sorry for the delay. We've been having series of network issues, but we are live now. Ẹ kú ọ̀lẹ́ o, Agboola Temitope. I see you. Ziad Babatunde Salau. I see you. Marcelo, ẹ kú ọ̀lẹ́ o. All right, guys, let's get. We began an Ifa series a few weeks back. Actually, this is something I've done before. We've talked about Ifa. We've had a series on Ifa since let's say about some 2 years ago. But many, can you even hear me well? Let me know. Let me know. Can you hear me well? The frequency chemist, welcome, welcome. I see you. Can you hear me well? I need you to let me know if you're hearing me very clearly. Adebisi Adebayo, welcome. I need you guys to let me know if you're hearing me clearly so we can go about what we are talking about or what we are here to talk about or who. Are you guys there? Talk to me or respond. Iyanu. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. So you can hear me clearly. All right, so let's just go. So we began talking about Ifa. We started an Ifa series in like I said some few weeks back, but this was something I've done, about some 2 years ago when I started Washere as a brand because it is something really important. I've always maintained that being Yoruba, almost everything we are is documented in Ifa. So when we talk about Ifa, we are not even talking about it religiously, because religion is just one of the many things found in Ifa. All right. So an understanding of what Ifa is very essential for anyone who is Yoruba, to understand Ifa as a compendium of the Yoruba knowledge. So it's something that I considered very, very expedient, very important. And then I'm talking about that 2 years ago. We discussed what Ifa is. All right, you see, after the whole Samson Yekini, I see you, Yanuluwa, De Adamola, Adamuye, sorry, Odunola Omishakin, Agbola Temitokpe. All right, thank you very much for tuning in. It promises to be a very, very interesting session. This is my first time coming on live here. Anyway, this is my stuff. This is my first time going live on YouTube. So I've never done this before. You know, I figure this is the best way to do this teaching, so I can get feedbacks immediately. We can get to answer people's questions, and you know, we upload the video so for others to watch later and learn. All right. So we are here to discuss this guy, and that's because this guy's name is Esu, by the way, and that's because no study about Ifa is complete without actually talking about Esu. You know, in fact, the study of any Orisha in Yoruba land is not complete without talking about Esu. Okay, so it is important at this junction that we are to talk about Esu and what it represents, what was in the mind of our ancestors when they named it Esu. You know, and we'll be getting into that very soon. I mean, the name, the etymology, the breakdown of that word itself, Esu. Esu is called many things. Esu is called Esu Odara. We have Beleke, Esu Ebita, Esu Onile Orita, Elegbara, Elegba, which, you know, in other societies, the Caribbean societies, Brazilian societies, it's pronounced as Elegwa. You know, my own mother is Togolese, and because Togo is very much also a Yoruba a Yoruba settlement or part of Togo, Esu there is known as Papa Legba. You understand? Esu is Yoruba's most famous Orisha. Esu is Yoruba's most international Orisha. And that is so for a reason. After this session, after the things we are going to be discussing about Esu, all of these things will make sense. You know, the controversies, the popularity, the misunderstandings, the misconception, the complexities, you know, the intricate nature, everything is going to, you know, come together after the things we're about to understand about Esu. Okay, so I may not be able to track the comments now, but oh, I don't understand English very well. If possible, I would like you to communicate more in Yoruba. Giga Oluwa, I see you in Yuade. Thank you. Anyway, you don't understand English. There are some people that don't understand Yoruba, so we'll strike a balance between that. Ajo mama yimo ara won ni taba so oyinbo díẹ̀ a ma sọ Yorùbá náà díẹ̀, you know, but the video will be re-uploaded. The subtitled version of the video will be re-uploaded, so don't worry, I have it in mind. Okay, so we are discussing Ifa, what Ifa is. For basic knowledge on, you know, what Ifa is, you may have to watch previous episodes. That if you have not been following, you may have to watch previous episodes. We have talked about the very meaning of Ifa itself. You know, let's say you have never heard of what Ifa is. What are you to understand about Ifa? So we've talked. We've taught that. We have also taught on Ifa, because Ifa is both a person, is both an Orisha and a system of divination. Okay, so Orumila, who is more like the one who understood that Ifa so much, and so he became the the spokesperson of that Orisha, and through him we have the Odu and all that. So Orunmila had his mediums, his ways of consulting Ifa. We have the Ikin Ifa, we have the Okpele. These things are also called Ifa. So we've had episodes where we, the last one we talked about Okpele and how Okpele is used. The one before that we talked about Ikin Ifa, the 16 sacred palm knots, and what these things actually represent. We've talked about the Odu, the 16 major Odu we have in Ifa, and the Amulu Odu, the Omo Odu, that is the minor ones, you know, the ones that are as a result of the combinations of the 16 major ones. We have discussed all of that and how it relates to computer science, you know, binary and all of these things. And we've gone to a juncture where we cannot proceed without understanding issue, because when you read in Ifa, you will see things like Babalawo ti àṣẹ èṣù bọ́nú. You will see things like wọ́n ní pé kí ẹnìkan lọ rú èrò àtùkèṣù. Kí ni ìtumọ̀ gbogbo àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ wọ̀nyí? Àwọn kan tá fẹ́ máa gbé yẹ̀wò lónìí nìyẹn. Ní báyìí nísìnyí, èṣù jẹ́ òrìṣà kan tó jẹ́ wípé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ èèyàn ní ò ní òye rẹ̀. Okay, let me start from how that he has been demonized due to the advent of Christianity. So Ajayi Crowther in the 1800s published a dictionary, not even the Bible now, because in the Bible, Satani is more used, right? But it was what did that damage was the dictionary, the Yoruba dictionary that Ajayi Crowther published, in which Eshu was called, he used these words, a demon, a fiend, the devil, and everything negative, which I suspect, or I'm convinced, was an intentional sabotage. You know, they did that very intentionally so that they could discourage, because it is what I would do if I want to, you know, divide people's minds from their roots, from what is theirs, you know, to accepting mine. I need to demonize that thing, you know, that is yours before you could see mine as an option. I need to establish the fact that you are in a damned state. I need to, you know, convince you that you are in a precarious state in which you cannot die, because if you die in this state, you are sure to go to hell. So I need the devil, you know, and I must find that devil in your culture. And if I'm able to spot one guy among your you know various Orisha and convince you that this is the devil, I mean, that should do it. The rest of the work should be easier now, and that was exactly what they did. So Eshu became the, you know, ready candidate for that due to his unpredictability. Some people would say things like it was easy for Eshu to get demonized as the Satan because of his mischievous nature, because of his unpredictability, because of his wickedness and all of this. All of these things are still misunderstandings. There is no similarity between Eshu and the devil. You know, there's no similarity. These are civilizations that have very different origins. These are worldviews that are miles apart. So we first must understand the fact that in Yoruba cosmology, there is no devil, there is no hell. So those afterlife judgment, those hereafter destinations of, you know, heaven and paradise and hell is very, very non-existent in the Yoruba understanding, you know, of the universe, or in the Yoruba understanding of our own cosmos. So we don't have, so we cannot possibly have something that is similar to the antagonist of a very, very far away religion. I don't know if you're getting me. So it is flawed that Eshu has similarities with the devil. First of all, what is the main reason we are talking about Eshu now is because in understanding Ifa has a very special relationship with Eshu. You know, between Ifa and Eshu exists a very, very intimate relationship. There are several stories in the verses of Ifa that talk about this. There are several Yeah, there are several stories in Ifa, that tell us why the bro, what do I put it now? The bromance, the bromance, the very love affair between Ifa and or Rumila and Eshu. We've got several stories like that in Ifa. All to establish the fact that Eshu, and so wherever you see a Babalawo, there must be a shrine of Eshu with any Babalawo. It is like that with almost all of the Orisha, but very, very emphasized when it gets to the Babalawo. So why is that? This issue, what does it mean? Is it a metaphor? Which aspect of the universe does it embody? Right? Why is it presented? When you look at this, why is there a face here and a face at the back? Right? What does this represent? This pouch, beside him, this string of cowries, this whisk, this club. Why do we have all of these things? So we need to understand this is a metaphorical representation of an entity, of a concept, right? The Yoruba is a very, very solid culture of intellection. So a lot of all these things that we have mystified are not really mysteries. They have, very well thought out, or these are concepts that emerged from serious observation of the workings of our universe. For me, Eshu is a very important understanding that every man must have concerning this universe. I think life would be easier lived when you understand Eshu and you are very conscious of Eshu. When you embrace that concept of Eshu as a constant in existence, your life will be easy. This is not even religion now, and the religious aspect we'll get to very soon. But I think it is very dangerous to live life without understanding that concept of Eshu. After this, by the time in a few minutes into this live this session, you are going to see that Eshu is present in every understanding of humanity, in every civilization, just by different names. You understand? And that is not me subscribing to the idea of, when people say things like Eshu is low-key. Eshu is the Yoruba version of low-key, the Norse deity of mischief, God of mischief. God, we don't use that in Europe because we don't believe in the existence of gods. All right. So, and I've talked about that in the past. So I don't subscribe to that Eshu being our own Loki, Shango being our own Thor, or Shun being our own Venus. No. And because most times when people do those things, it's always from a complex position, an inferiority complex thing. Okay, we also have it in our own culture. You have Loki, we also have Eshu. No. They're not really the same things. They don't even have similarities in my own opinion. All right, Eshu is Eshu. We don't always have to find Western equivalents for our own concepts, our own things. It's like Akara. Akara is Akara. Akara does not have an English name because the English people don't have Akara. It's like shawarma. Shawarma is shawarma. Shawarma does not have a Yoruba name because we don't have shawarma in our culture. So it's ridiculous asking what is the Yoruba word for shawarma. It is as ridiculous when you say something like, what then is it? Because when I say that Eshu is not Satan, people would say, what then is the English word for Satan? That's a ridiculous question. Eshu does not have to have an English word. What is the English word for Romila? What is the English word for Oshun? What is the English word for Orisha? What is the English word for irunmole? What is the Yoruba word for Jesus? The best we can do is Jesu, which is just a Yoruba corruption of the word Jesus. There's no Yoruba word for Jesus. You understand that now? So, Eshu is Eshu, right? And to not like Eshu is to not understand Eshu. You know, you can't understand Eshu and not like Eshu. You understand? But this is, I'm saying, you know, will sound very shocking to so many people because, you know, they were born into, you know, that already entrenched demonization of everything that is African. All right. So let us just get right into it. Let us start, first of all, with the word Eshu itself. And I've done this, you know, several times in the past. Kini tomorrow Eshu. The important word, the key word, the root word in that word Eshu is the word shu, which simply means to make something round or something that has a circular shape or to mold something. Àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ tó ní ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn nínú àwọn ní ọ̀rọ̀ bí you must be familiar with the name Shubomi. You know, maybe one of the people watching me now bears the name Shubomi. Lára about pé kí nǹkan shu. Actually, shu is the shortened form of a longer word, which is shuru. Shuru yẹn ó túmọ̀ sí wípé, you know, to shroud, to encircle. All right. So we also have the word oshuka, oshupa, oshu. You know, oshu is from oshupa. When you look at the moon, it is round. Oshuka is when you fold maybe a wrapper into, you know, a round, round shaped figure, round shaped head part or head support. When you want to carry, we carry loads in our heads in Nigeria. So if you want to carry a load on your head, we put the oshuka, you know, so that it can be well balanced and for support, you know, a cushion kind of. So from that word Eshu, we have the idea of circle, which symbolizes balance, you know, which symbolizes equilibrium, impartiality, justice, you know, obiri. It also symbolizes protection. It symbolizes, you know, when you are shrouded. Sonny Ade sang a song. He said, Eshu biribiri ebomi, Eshu biribiri ebomi yo. Iwájú lọ́lọ́kọ yíwá mi lọ. Ẹ̀yìn lọ́lọ́kọ yíwá mi lọ. Èmi ò mọ̀, mi ò mọ̀, mi ò mọ̀, mi ò mọ̀, mi ò mọ̀. So he says, Eshu biribiri ebomi. You know, shroud me, cover me jealously, aggressively. That's protection. Which is what Eshu does, or which is one of the many things that Eshu does. Eshu is the one who protects, the one who rescues, and that is, for him to protect us, he's got to be capable of protecting us. And that's where Elegbara comes in. That is the meaning of the word Elegbara. Elegbara is just a dialectal way of saying Alagbara. Elegbara is just a dialectal difference. Just the way some dialects pronounce Olodumare as Eledumare. You know, the same things. You know, and then in some dialects you also have Eledua. You know, that's a more shortened version. So Elegbara, Alagbara, you know, that is the powerful nature. That's a word that describes Eshu as very powerful. The powerful one, the mighty one who protects his people. What is Eshu really protecting? Is it just about protecting the people? You know, the way, is it just about guiding the people from sicknesses, defending them in times of war? Is it just restricted to that, or there is something about this universe that Eshu protects? What is that thing that Eshu is protecting? Now we'll get to that. Elegbara is different from Elegba. Elegba literally means the one who receives. What is he receiving? All right. Elegba also actually talks about, because ba means to collect, to receive. When I'm in danger, as a Yoruba person, I will shout, "Ẹ gbà mí o, please receive me, collect me." That's a literal, translation. But the intended meaning, the extensive meaning is rescue me, ẹ gbà mí, rescue me, save me. So when we call Eshu Elegba, he is the one who rescues, the one who receives. But also, because that word ba is in the word agba, agbalagba. So, who is an agba? Is an agba simply the person who collects, who receives, who... An agba is the one from whom certain levels of understanding is expected. Agba, abápèyàn ní àgbà, wọ́n máa sọ pé àgbà kì í wà lọ́jà kí orí ọmọ tuntun ó wọ́. That status of being an agba places a responsibility on you to ensure that things are done right. That status of being an agba, makes it impossible or makes it incompatible for you to be irresponsible. You understand? As pé a kì í pèèyàn ní àgbà kó tún máa ṣe lágbáláńgbá. A kì í fèèyàn jẹ́ oyè àwòdì kó má lè. An àgbàlagbà, Yoruba will say that tọmọdé bá ń gégi nígbó, àgbàlagbà ló máa mọ bí tó máa wó sí. Why? That's not a mysterious expression at all. Why? An àgbàlagbà has more experiences. He has that thing that the child is doing has been done in the presence of that àgbàlagbà for so many times before that child itself was born. So àgbàlagbà, oríwájú, orí ẹ̀yìn, that's an àgbàlagbà. The one who is advanced. Not that, to be advanced in age is to be advanced in experiences. So an àgbàlagbà sees what is before and sees what is behind. He judges what is to come based on what he has seen behind. That is why the issue has a face in the front and another at the back. So he's got the full picture. Issue Arinuro. He has the full picture. So when you are in situations when things are happening that you don't understand or that doesn't make sense at all, it is difficult. You will not understand what Eshu knows what is going on at that time. Okay, maybe I'm moving far ahead of myself. All right, we are talking about the etymology of the word Eshu. So that is important so that you can see that there is nothing about that word Eshu that suggests the devil. Go read the history of that person called the devil or Lucifer or Satan and juxtapose, it or him with Eshu, and you see that there are no similarities at all. All right, Eshu is the one who encircles, the one who shrouds, the one who protects. Eshu is alagbara, mighty, is powerful. It means whatever he represents is very potent. Whatever he represents affects every aspect of the of humanity, affects every aspect of the universe. That's why it's alagbara. Alagbara, I want you to understand, is not only about the one who protects us, the one who guides us, no, it means that concept of Eshu is powerful. That understanding of Eshu, that what Eshu represents is powerful. That is the meaning of that Elegba there. Now, Elegba, he who rescues, he who protects something, he who guides something. All right. Okay, so we are getting somewhere. All right. So now let's talk about these. So now we say Eshu in the Oriki of Eshu. One thing we can also understand about Eshu is the fact that he is empathetic. He is very, very empathetic. Oriki Eshu sọ wípé Eshu ní Òbẹ́lẹ́kún sunkún, kẹ́rù òbẹ́lẹ́kún, ẹlẹ́kún sunkún láàróyè ń ṣẹ̀jẹ̀. Òbónímí ṣumí, kẹ́rù òbónímí onímí ṣumí láàróyè ń ṣùfún. Eshu is so empathetic. Eshu is so sympathetic that when he cries with the crier, with the one who is aggrieved, with the one who is, you know, with the one who is depressed, when he empathizes with you, he empathizes with you to an extent where even you begin to start feeling scared. You know, I am crying, I am the one who is affected, I am crying, you are a sympathizer and you are crying blood. You cry to the level where blood comes out of your eyes instead of tears. You know, Obonimi Shumi, it means feces. You know, Shumi means to excrete feces. And then Eshu takes that responsibility upon himself to do on your behalf, and he does it to a level where he starts excreting his own intestines. Obonimi Shumi, Obonimi. So that's just a metaphorical expression to exaggerate Eshu's Eshu's proclivity towards you know, the issues, the sympathetic nature of Eshu, the one that is very empathic. He's got humans' interest at heart. You know, again, nothing close to, you know, the devil. You understand? Oh, I don't. We've left that. You know, that issue. This is not to prove that Eshu is not Satan. This, what we're doing now, we want to understand Eshu. We want to know who Eshu is, right? So it's not really about Eshu not being Satan. I think we have left that, you know, we've left that stage already. All right. Now, so you see that these are Ado, you know, what we have on these are Ado, you know, gods, you know, we just, you know, condiments of power. We've talked about the face in the front and the face at the back, about which we shall be talking even extensively very soon. This is a whisk, akparu, you know, this one here. I don't know if you can see it clearly. Because Eshu is a wanderer, which is why some people argue that is not Ogiri Oko but Okiri Oko. Both of them, this was something that we have studied extensively about over a year ago, about 2 years ago. I actually went to different babalawos across different Yoruba lands, and I interviewed them on who Eshu is. So some say is Ogiri Oko, Ogiri as in wall, and some say Okiri Oko. I mean the one who wanders, the one who goes about throwing stones, and that is what this one is representing. Ogiri Oko means the wall that cannot be you know, you can't, this wall now, you dare not just come and just put hit your head against it. So that is a metaphor to buttress Eshu as a powerful concept, you know, as a mighty concept. That concept that is very, very powerful is what I want us to talk about mainly today. But look at this now. You see, this one is, so he wanders, he goes about, you know, he walks about, right? And so he needs something with which to, you know, shove off or to swat the insect, and you know, so that's what this one right here is. This one, and this is Kumo, a club, you know, a weapon, you know, that which he uses in protecting. This string of cowries symbolizes Aji. You know, we're going to get more. This is a work in progress. You know, it's something we are building in our studio here, and it's a work in progress. When it is fully done, I'll show you. All right. So, but the most important thing here is, okay, so this pouch, there's a pouch here where the stones are kept. It goes about throwing stones, you know, metaphorically, yeah. But why, you know, the use of stone? Why that? What does that, you know, represent? When we begin to talk about Eshu as a Yoruba understanding of non-determinism, as the ultimate dialectician, everything will come together. So, but that is what this one here is. You know, this statue, this figurine is from, you know, my study of Eshu. You know, so we're going to have different statues emphasizing different characteristics of Eshu. Eshu as Beleke, Eshu as Elegbara, Eshu Odara, Eshu Ebita, you know, all of this. So, but this one we are starting with this. This is Eshu Alaje. Okay, but the most important thing here is the Janus concept of a face in the front and another at the back. Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me? Are we still together? Please just let me know. Please. Are we still together? Let me know. 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 Before we proceed. Are we still together? Can you hear me? Oh, the video is lagging. Yeah? The video is lagging. Is that still happening? Is that still happening? We're working on the that's a network issue. But is it still happening, please? Okay. The video is lagging. That's a network issue. But we can't restart. I think that it's in our the network here is been you have to bear with us. This is Nigeria and it is raining. This is this is rainy season in Nigeria, so it's really messing up our network. Let's just proceed. Am I checking let's proceed. Okay. So this one, this statue we designed based on what we have understood about Eshu. Eshu as the one who's got the full picture, the one who sees what is before and what is behind, and that is a powerful thing. If you have the clear picture, if you are in a position where when something happens you know for sure where it is leading, then you are powerful. That is why Eshu is a legbara. That is why Eshu is a legba. A legba suggests that it protects something. What is the thing that he is protecting? Okay, Eshu is called Onile Orita. Onile Orita, the one whose abode is at the crossroads. And Orita Lungbe. What is Orita? The Orita is the crossroads, the place where several roads meet. What does that symbolize, or what does that teach us? Why the adoption of that metaphor? The Yoruba say something. One man sọ pé Orita checking the all right, let's go on. Yoruba man sọ pé Orita mẹ́ta tí ń dàlejò láàmú. Did you hear that? Orita mẹ́ta tí ń dàlejò láàmú. Ọ̀tún ni yà sí ni èmi ò mọ̀. Òsì ni yà sí ni èmi ò mọ̀. Iwájú ni yà sí ni èmi ò mọ̀. Ẹ̀yìn ni yà sí ni èmi ò mọ̀. Ẹni ò bá mọbi tó ti ń bọ̀, tó bá débi tó ń lọ, ó lè má mọ̀. Oríta mẹ́ta tí ń dàlejò láàmú. Esu, many have called him a Confucianist. Well, whether that is wrong or not depends on context. But sure, Esu is a Yoruba. I'm approaching this thing conceptually, not even religiously now. And the religious aspect of this thing, Orisha are first about principles. They are the different understanding of, the understanding of the different aspects of the universe. If you want to understand the aspect of the universe that is about, fire and thunder, what are the things that can be derived from all of these things, and okay, that is Shango's. We studied all of that, and we call the Orisha in charge of that, Shango, because we believe that everything physical came from the metaphysical. Everything physical came from the spiritual. So it first exists spiritually before it could exist physically, and that is very scientific. Let's even take it to bring it to a natural level. Before something happens, before something is actualized, it first has existed in an immaterial state in form of an idea. For instance, before this statue, for instance, first existed idealistically, it was first thought out. So it came from the immaterial into the material. And that is the Yoruba, understanding of the universe, that everything that exists in life, whether as an abstract thing, first exists spiritually, which is why everything is respected and deified as an Orisha, including Ile, including Afefe, including love, including anger. You understand? That is what the Orisha represents. Ogun is the Yoruba understanding of technology, of warfare, of ironworks, of metallurgy, the various things that can happen as a result of understanding the workings of iron. So it makes sense that Ogun is the deity of war, because he is the one with the knowledge of metallurgy, of iron, and you can't fight a war without weapons. You understand that now? So Esu is the Yoruba understanding of confusion as a fact in our universe. And confusion is not bad. Fear is not bad. Anger is not bad. In fact, hatred is not bad. It is like saying the knife is bad because Boko Haram use it for killing or for slitting people's throats. You understand? There's nothing bad about the knife. It is only the person who is wielding it. Confusion is a good thing, I dare say. The problem is when it is overwhelming. Everything today that is affecting our world developmentally, anything that has led to development of the state of humanity today, resulted or came as a result as confusion. Confusion is a necessary stage of creativity. You first must be confused before you can arrive at a solution. In fact, order is a response to disorder. There first must be disorder. There first must be chaos before we can have order. All right. There first must be disorganization before we can have order. That disorganization was important for the emergence of order. That confusion was important for the decision, the right decision for you to be made. So Esu embodies, or he represents, the aspect of our existence that involves constant decision making. We are always making decisions, and that is what the crossroad is about. When you get to a crossroad, when you get to an orita, you have to choose where to go. You have to make a decision. You are you are highly cooked when you get to a crossroad and you don't know where to go. Oríta mẹ́ta tí ń dàlejò láàmú, ọ̀tún ni yà sí ni èmi ò mọ̀, òsì ni yà sí ni èmi ò mọ̀. Ẹni ò bá mọ bí tó ti ń bọ̀ tó bá débi tó ń lọ ó lè máa mọ̀. When they tell you that when you get to when you from 2 kilometers when you reach 2 kilometers branch left, if you don't know where you are coming from, how would you know how to calculate the 2 kilometers? How would you know when you have reached that 2 kilometers? You know, that's confusion. That song I was listening to earlier by Fela says for Oju Elegba, for that song is titled Confusion Breakbone. For Oju Elegba, moto dey come from right, moto dey come from left, moto dey come from front, moto dey come from back, and policeman no dey for center. Na confusion be that, yo. Kafuka na war. So imagine that kind of situation. You know, Oju Elegba is there's an Orita Meta there, and in fact that Orita Meta has a shrine of Esu, you know, there in Oju Elegba, still there till today. And the Oju Elegba there actually doesn't mean the eye of the cane holder. No, Ojubo Elegbara, Ojubo Elegbara, Ojubo Elegba. That is what, you know, the Oju Elegba in Lagos is. So it's still about Esu, and it makes sense that there's always a lot of confusion around that place. You see, we the Yoruba don't have a negative understanding of, in fact, we are not puritanistic people. We are not puritanic. You know, so there is no black and white approach to, you know, this universe, you know, the as a Yoruba person. So confusion is not a bad thing. All right. In fact, confusion is necessary. Whether it is bad or not, it exists. And if it exists, it means there is a spirit behind it, and that spirit is a shoe. You understand now? So you must be confused. The confused state of Nigeria now is why Nigeria will be good in the future, because this confusion is going to lead to a decision which can be revolutionary, and that will bring about change. So it now makes sense that Esu is an agent of change. Esu is the concept. No, that concept of the crossroad simply is telling you that as human beings, because now Esu is an Onile Orita, he lives in the crossroad. So the crossroad is not a point in your journey where you pass through. You know, I want you to understand that Esu actually lives in the crossroad. So it's not the crossroad phase of our life. It's not a phase. It's not something you experience now and you stop experiencing. No, it is a constant. You are always at a crossroad. You are always having to make decisions. You will always be presented with multiple choices. You will always be presented with multiple opportunities. You will always have to choose. I decided to, you know, do this video. I decided to be here to talk about Esu today. You decided to be here to watch me, you know, to learn about Esu. That is you being at a crossroad and choosing a path. And that is what Esu represents. You will always have to choose, you know. And when you get to a crossroad, you must slow down. Imagine you're driving and you get to a junction. You must slow down. Whether you, even if you know where you want to go to, you first must slow down. So Esu invites us to actually slow down, to calm down. Which is why I say that when you understand that concept of Esu, aye ò lè rújú, aye ò lè rújú. Now, this is where our ancestors were coming from, right? They understand Esu as the aspect when there are some decisions you want to make in life that you may need to wait a whole year. Why the rush? Why the rush? You know, we live in a world of precipitation. We live in a world where everybody is hasty. Everybody is hasty. And that's why we are making bad decisions, because we're in a rush. We are hasty. We are under undue pressure. So we make financial mistakes. We make, you know, wrong decisions in our relationships. We make wrong decisions in our businesses. We make wrong decisions in our religious lives. We make wrong decisions in our marital lives because we are always in a haste. We haven't understood the concept of Esu. That, aspect of the universe that tells you to calm down, to relax. Esu is calm. Esu is calm. Esu reminds us, Esu is that non-determinism, which is very, very, which is, a major thing in computer science, in logic, in physics, in philosophy. The Yoruba understood. The point of what we are doing now is to let you see the fact that our ancestors knew since many centuries ago. They understood the concept of non-determinism. What is non-determinism? Non-determinism is the fact that you can actually obey all the rules and still not have the outcome guaranteed. And that is normal. You can do everything right, according to you, in your own opinion, based on the level of understanding you have and the level of data you're exposed to. You can do everything right and still have the outcome come out wrongly. And that is very okay. That is non-determinism. The fact that things can be done the way you think they should be done, and you still cannot be able to guarantee their results, their outcome. They can still behave differently. That is non-determinism. And it is a fact about life. It is a norm. So when you understand that, do you know you will be less depressed when you have embraced that concept of non-determinism, which our own ancestors understand and name Esu. And they call it Elegbara, meaning it is a very powerful concept. When you understand that and you do some things and they didn't come out, they didn't result in the kind of things you're expecting, you'll be less depressed because your expectations were managed from the start. Nothing is really, Esu teaches you that nothing is really cast in stone. Esu teaches you that Esu is the Yoruba, like Wole Soyinka described him, the Yoruba understanding, or the Yoruba understanding of Esu is called of dialectics, right? Wole Soyinka calls him the ultimate dialectician. What is dialectics? The unity of opposites. The fact that two opposing things can be happening at the same time, and one of them not necessarily wrong. I can love you and punish you at the same time. Two opposite reactions happening simultaneously. I can love you and upset your plans to teach you a lesson. That is what Esu is. That is who Esu is. That is what Esu does. Elegba. Because I have the full picture. There are some things you are doing now. You don't know their outcome. I know. You think that's what is right for you. But I know I have a better understanding. So I will upset that plan. He goes about throwing stones of confusion in the midst of people because he's the agent of change. And change, change first stems out from a state of confusion. You are confused about a situation. So you need to make a decision about it. And then that decision you make results to a change. Nothing worthwhile, nothing good, nothing developmental, nothing important can happen without that stage. That crossroad stage. We are at a crossroad, ladies and gentlemen, all of us. Right now we are at a crossroad. Awa ni orita meta tin dalejo lamu. Imagine you are a sojourner or an alejo, a visitor to a land. You are not familiar with the road and you come across a crossroad. You are confused. That is our state in life. We came into this world not having a prior understanding of it. We are the alejo at Orita Meta. All of us. Orita Meta tin dalejo lamu. Gbogbo wa alejo ni wa ni Orita Meta yi. Àwa sílẹ̀ ayé yìí kò yé wa. We are at a crossroad. We are confused. Think about it. Are you not confused? You are confused. You don't have the answers. You don't have the full picture. You don't know what is going on. You don't know where you came from. You don't know where you are going to. You don't understand death because you have never died before. So all of those things we have, built up for ourselves, heaven, hell, is just we struggling to make sense of the universe. It doesn't make sense. We don't understand it. We are at a crossroad. We are confused. That is why human beings are now coming up with different coping mechanisms. That is what has led to the different religions that we have. Christianity, Islam, Hindu. They are just coping mechanisms, panacea, trying to give ourselves, a meaning. What are we really doing? What is this about? Where did I come from? What am I doing here? Who created me? That is a constant state of every human being, whether you accept it or not. We are at a crossroads, ladies and gentlemen. Àwa ní oríta. So you've got to rely on a concept that guides you. We are strangers in this world. We are not familiar. Think about it. You don't even have any memory of what happened when you were in the womb. What happened? You don't have any memory. You have no understanding. You can't even remember your childhood clearly. You have what happened when you were 1, when you were 2. What exactly happened? And you were existing at that time. What happened? Isn't that confusing? What will happen to you when you die? You don't know. You don't know. The best we can do is say, okay, when I die, I stop existing, or I reincarnate, I go to heaven, I go to hell. But for a fact, those are belief systems. And I need belief when I don't know. I don't need to believe that this is a microphone, for instance. I know it is. All right? But when somebody tells me that this microphone is actually a goat that turns to a microphone, then I need belief because I don't know that. So the best we can do is have belief systems. But for a fact, we don't know. We are at a crossroad. We are always at a crossroad. We are in the crossroad. Eshu's home is in the crossroad. He's not passing through the crossroad to go to somewhere. No, he lives there. And that's a powerful concept. And that's why he's a leg bearer. So Eshu knows what is before and what lies behind. All right? Eshu knows what is before and what lies behind. So he understands. So there are some things that happen to you that you will interpret as bad, things that are as a result of Eshu himself, but you will not, you may call it bad, but Eshu has the full picture. You understand? Eshu has the full picture. He knows the whole thing. He knows what is going on. So that concept of non-determinism, when you don't appreciate it, you are always going to fall victim to it. When you think you are the one in charge, then you are always going to make bad decisions. That is the meaning of Eshu ma shemi. It is not saying that Eshu is an evil person. No. Eshu represents something about life that is a fact, that is not as a result of what you believe or what you choose to accept or not. See, whether you believe in Eshu or not, Eshu exists. That concept exists. That concept of non-determinism, of confusion, of the fact that we are at a crossroad, of the fact that we always have to make decisions, we will always be presented with multiple decisions, and we always have to choose. You will always have to make a decision in life. You understand? And you had better make the right decision. If you don't make the right decision, it is not saying that Eshu sets you up for failure, or Eshu harms you, Eshu does evil, Eshu kills, Eshu no. Eshu ma shemi is saying that Eshu, please do not let me fall into the trap of non-determinism, or do not let me be in a situation where I will not have a basis for decision making. Or don't let me be in a situation where I am always confused. Like I said earlier, confusion is a good thing. The bad thing about it is when it is an overwhelming state of your life. When you are always confused, that is what is wrong about it. Because Yoruba people, we believe in, or we have the concept of iwọ̀ntúnwọ̀nsì, balance. When iwọ̀ntúnwọ̀nsì is iwọ̀ntúnwọ̀nsì, to measure something to the right and to the left. You know, when you measure it to the right, measure the left too, so that you can strike a balance. If I measure 2 centimeters at the right, I should measure 2 centimeters at the left too. That is balance. You shouldn't be found at the extreme of anything. Don't be too good, don't be too bad. That's what it should teaches you. Balance. That's life. You see, our universe itself is balanced. It is a balance of the negative and the positive energies. When we talk about nature, we like to talk about the fact that, you know, we expound the beautiful aspect of nature, you know, sunlight, the sun, you know, the moon, the ocean. We talk about, you know, fresh air, the flowers, you know, the foliage. When we look at those poems, you know, daffodils, you know, those poems about nature, you see how nature is presented as something beautiful and all of that. But earthquake is nature too. Tsunami is nature too. All right? Hurricane is nature too. You see? Landslide is nature. You understand? Omiyale is nature. Agbara Yashobu is nature. You understand? Is that for us is bad. It kills, but that is nature. You get that now? Tornado is nature. So the concept of good and bad is largely a man thing. It's largely a human thing. You know, the world is a balanced atmosphere of the good and the evil. You see, pleasure, there is a pleasure of having a child, where you are happy when you have a child. But the process of having that child is not pleasurable. That's the balance of the good and the evil, the positive and the negative. That positive and negative balance is needed for us to have electricity. Like, think about every aspect of humanity. There is that bipolar complementarity. You know, there is that balance between opposites. That's dialectics, the unity of opposites. Like, the human flesh functions because there is a bony part and there is a fleshy part. The bone and the flesh must unite before human beings can be possible. You know, the liquid and the solid must unite before human beings can be possible. There must be the fluid, and there must be the solid, there must be the blood, and there must be the flesh. Like, that balance is in every aspect of life. Think about any aspect of life. There is that balance of the good and the evil. So sometimes the untoward experiences you have, sometimes the negative experiences you have, is not because there's something wrong with you. It's not because you are unlucky. You understand? That is the lesson that Esu imparts. That is the lesson that Esu teaches. That's what Esu is teaching you. You get what I'm saying now? So Esu teaches us that tibitire ladale aye, ile aye is a combination of ibi and ire. You always need Esu. To disregard that concept of Esu is to fall victim to the concept. To not make a good decision is to fall victim to the effects of bad decision making. That is Esu. Esu ti ṣe nìyẹn. That's the meaning of Esu má ṣe mí. That's the meaning of Esu má ṣe mí. Ọmọ ẹlòmíì ni ó ṣe o. Please, Esu, do not let me fall victim. Do not let me fall victim to the law of non-determinism. Please guide me. Protect me. Esu má ṣe mí. If an entity is strict, Esu is very strict. You know, look at that aspect of humanity that we have said now. Does it bend? Is it not strict? The fact that you're always at a crossroad, and if you dare make the wrong decision, you are cooked. If you're at a crossroad, you're supposed to go left and you go right. Do you know what has happened to you? You have wasted so much time and energy. the effect of that will happen. Like, the effect of that cannot be averted. Èṣù ti ṣe nìyẹn. Èṣù ti ṣe nìyẹn. It's not like Èṣù is coming. Èṣù just wants to make your life difficult. No. Tó bá dé oríta tó mọ bí tó fẹ́ yà sí tó wá lọ ṣìnà, Èṣù ti ṣe nìyẹn. Èṣù má ṣe mí, it means that Èṣù má jẹ́ kí n ṣìnà, má jẹ́ kí n ṣìlẹ̀tẹ̀, má jẹ́ kí n ṣe àṣemáṣe, má jẹ́ kí n ṣe sí. Èṣù guide me. Èṣù ìwọ ni ẹlẹ́gbà, gbà mí. Ìwọ ni alágbára, dákun, gbà mí, rescue me. Èṣù ìwọ ni onílé oríta, tí n bá ti dé oríta tọ́ mi sọ́nà, torí ìwọ ni onílé oríta. Guide me, protect me. If you disregard that, Èṣù ti ṣe nìyẹn. Now, I believe we've talked about that. So far, please let me know if you have. Somebody is saying I'm confused, though. Please don't be confused. Don't be confused. Please, I need to know. Do you understand so far? And any questions before now? I quickly want to talk about now the relationship between Èṣù and Ifa. The relationship between Èṣù and Ifa. But before then, I need to know if you understand what we have been discussing so far. Pause on. I can't see the comments here. Let me know. Yeah, can you see it there? You know, what are people saying? I need to know. Are we together, please? Let me know, guys. Let me know, guys, please. Are you saying comments there? I'm not seeing people's comments, though. What's happening? Are we guys together? Let me know. Let me know. Can you hear me? Do you understand what we have been discussing so far?